Hello, everyone. Paula, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well. Hello, Vasil.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. Let's give the others 1 or 2 minutes to join. We are about to start. While we are waiting for the others, please let me know if you can hear me well. So we have a chat window here. So just post 1 in chat if you can hear me and see me well, or post 2 if you have any technical issue. So maybe we'll advise something. Okay, very good.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so while we are waiting, maybe you will write just a little bit about yourself, like which industry are you from? Are you from like e-learning or some kind of manufacturing or software development? That will be great for us to know.
Seems like we have a very international audience with us today, huh?
Yeah,
From Brazil,
Asia, States, Europe. Yeah.
Belarus, US.
Yeah, that's great, actually. Okay, so yeah, we are about to start. I think everything is set. So yeah, the webinar will be recorded, so you will get the link to ask any questions. The recording follow-up email in chat. We'll answer them here on fly or in the end of the webinar during the questions and answers session. So let's start then. Welcome again. We are having this webinar together with our partner, Wikitude. So today, together with Wikitude, we will tell you how you can improve your e-learning product with augmented reality features. And first of all, let us introduce ourselves a little bit. Give me a second, just switching the slide. Yeah, I guess you can see the slide now. So my name is Vasil. I am CTO at HQSoftware. And together with my team here at HQSoftware, we create solutions in the domains of Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and of course, augmented reality and virtual reality. And also, we create for our clients the R&D centers. And those R&D centers, they help our clients with digital transformation and help them to automate their businesses. And together with Wikitude, we combine our knowledge to create state-of-the-art AR projects. And please meet Paula.
Yes, thank you very much for having me today, Vasil. It's always a pleasure. My name is Paula, and I'm head of marketing at Wikitude. I've been in the augmented reality industry for several years now, 7+ years now. And even before like the whole Pokemon Go thing was a thing. Yeah, and if there's some new people in the audience today who don't know about Wikitude, we're all about delivering cutting edge technology for businesses like Nissan, Walmart, Victoria's Secret, but also to some of the top universities worldwide. We've been doing this for 10 years now, and we grew a community of over 140,000 developers. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure.
Let's start then with the facts and figures. Yeah, so first of all, I have to state that AR is already quite well adopted by the businesses. So as we can see, 88% of mid-sized companies use AR. This is that way. And that means that the company can already generate revenue from AR. It's not like nice and fancy technology anymore. It's something that can really help your business. And from the other side, the people, the end users, they are well aware of AR as well. So 70 to 75% of the people, they use AR, they know what's that, and they know how to deal with that. So AR already generates significant amount of revenue, but it is still a fast-growing market. So by 2023, we expect to have like 70 to 75 billion revenue generated by AR, but it is not yet as big as e-learning, because e-learning, it is like trending for, I don't know, years or even a decade. And especially nowadays when we are affected by the pandemic, it is even more actual. Therefore, we believe that AR and e-learning, they can create the synergy, and that will generate even more like profit and revenue on the market. However, if we talk about e-learning when compared to traditional way of education, people who are involved, they do have some concerns like, am I technically ready for the e-learning? Can my students access the platform? Do I have enough content for that? As well as we have to solve in e-learning quite a lot of challenges, and this is where emerging technologies like AR, they do help really. One of the most important challenges is how do we keep how do we maintain the students' engagement? And AR is a great solution here, because AR provides a very visual, a very interactive way to display things to the students, and they will be very much involved and engaged in the education process. Yeah, so then as next thing, let us elaborate a little bit on the features that AR can provide and how we can use it in e-learning. So Paula, that's your turn. Paula, I think you are still on mute.
Yes, I was. Thank you, Vasil. Thank you very much for sharing some of these market statistics. Beyond these numbers, it's very interesting to see how the whole COVID-19 situation has really put this businesses and academic institutions to test for how they are ready for this whole e-learning and remote assistance scenario that we have today. So, and this is why I was so thrilled to participate in this webinar, because augmented reality is such a powerful tool that can engage people and really create this more flowy way of learning and of doing jobs when they're on the field. So, and honestly, it has never been that easy to work with augmented reality as it is today. So I know that we have some incredible educators in our audience, and I would just be curious, how many of you have already worked with augmented reality before? So just give me a big yes or a big no. There's no shame there. It's something for everyone to hear, to learn today. Whoa, okay, seems like we have a lot of profis out there. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for all of your responses. Yeah, so let's just begin from the beginning. In a nutshell, augmented reality is a technology that connects the physical world around us to digital content, whether this content is a video or an audio or a link. So it's just making the bridge between the two worlds, let's say. And there are several types of AR that we can use. And this is an extremely versatile technology that can be applied both in the business context for remote assistance and training purposes, but also in the educational, like in the classroom or in the university student that is right now locked in his room trying to learn and trying to do the best in this COVID times. So when I say the world around us, I really mean anything. It can be environments, it can be objects that are around us, and also images, paintings, books. It can be anything. So yeah, let's get started and let's learn about the different types of augmented reality. All right. So the first feature and the most popular one is called image recognition. And as the name says, you're recognizing a predefined image that you have uploaded to a system or that you have fed the system before. And with image recognition, you can enhance any 2D material. So this can be a textbook, this can be an instruction manual, a packaging, or like a shoebox, or anything that is print, really. For schoolers, this can mean that a student has a mobile app on his phone. He gets the textbook, he scans the page of the book, and he can get further information about a specific topic, or hear an audio recording of the teacher telling everything about the specific subject. So this technology is really cool because it adds this engagement layer to relatively static materials. And also it's very easy to build, it's very easy to maintain, and to update the content as you go. Even if you have limited technical background or limited technology understanding, this is still possible with easy drag and drop tools. So this was image recognition. Moving next. From 2D print material to 3D physical things. We can use physical objects around us, like a world globe or a musical instrument, or even a complex machinery, to add content to that. So just think of the situation that the worker is on a factory floor and he points his phone to a machine. Through augmented reality, he can learn everything about this machine. He can understand what is going on, if there is a downtime or not, and he can fix the issue with the assistance of someone that is sitting in Japan and get the work started through this e-learning experience there. So this was object recognition. And moving to geolocation AR, this is a very interesting and super requested technology since the hype of Pokemon Go. I'm sure that everyone has heard about Pokemon Go. Well, that's the technology that is behind this application. And the context of learning, we can not chase Pokemons, but maybe chase culture or chase history. By simply pointing our phones to the horizon, we can see different points of interest, add information on these different points, and just help the user go from one point to the other, helping explore their surroundings. So it's a very common feature to be used, for example, for historical learning, or also for tourism, for example. And finally, markerless AR. This really brings the classroom to the student's home. So as the name says, markerless, it doesn't have any marker predefined. So no object predefined, no location predefined, or an image predefined. It just uses whatever the environment that the person is and puts the content into the person's living room, for example. So we can see, like in the image, this young boy, he has the solar system, and he's learning about the solar system literally at his fingertips, seeing how everything works. So yeah, those were the 4 main types of augmented reality features. And I will hand over to Vasil. He will give you some examples on how these AR features are implemented today in the market.
Yeah, exactly. Paula was just talking about markerless, and I will start with this example where we used the markerless technology to implement the app. So our client here was international automotive manufacturing company. So they care, as any, I think, automotive company, they care a lot about safety, and they want to be their brand to be associated with safety. So basically they put a lot of efforts in that direction, and they maintain like a huge ecosystem, web portal, and a lot of apps dedicated to that. And they mainly what they do is that they train the drivers, especially the young drivers, and they try somehow to improve their skills. So the app we did for them basically helps to train drivers how to behave on crossroads and roundabouts. So when your mobile app detects a plane, like flat horizontal plane, it can be either floor or it can be table, it can visualize the roundabout or crossroad on that surface, and you can control the car using the controls on the screen. You can see the steering wheel and the pedals. So you can drive through this crossroad. You can get some recommendations. You can get some score. And as a result, you are getting more prepared to this kind of condition in real life. And you can observe how it looks like from different perspectives with the help of AR technology. That's an example of markerless usage. And another interesting example, and by the way, quite a popular use case nowadays is electronic manuals, service manuals. So here our client is manufacturing company, and they have the manufacturing hall where machines, complex machines are installed, and they have to train their workers to work with their machines. So the goal was to first save money and efforts on training, and the second, reduce the human factor when actual maintenance or service is done against the machine. So we implemented a mobile app which can basically recognize the machine when the camera is pointed towards the machine, and this recognition happens by the means of object recognition technology. So when the object is recognized, the app basically plays back interactive manual how to deal with that machine, how to perform the maintenance and the service. It also allows creating that kind of manuals from the app. And yeah, as a result, the app can be used during the training or during the actual maintenance. And yeah, obviously it saves time and efforts on that kind of operations and reduces the number of errors. So those are the two cases I wanted to mention. I guess Paula has more.
Exactly. So we're going to change a little bit the gears now from business to schools. And I'll take you on a trip to Japan. The first success story that I would like to talk about is called AirCord. And with this application and the supporting material, the students can learn how to program in class and now at home. So this is a super nice application that is now helping the teachers teach the children on how they can think logically and how they can get the hang of programming. And it's super interesting because now programming is a part of the curriculum in Japan. So it's a mandatory subject in Japan. So with this application, they can really get this hands-on experience of logical thinking and give the commands, for example, to the planets and robots and see how the different things respond to their commands, really getting, yeah, this experience on how to program on their own at home. The next use case that I would like to mention is just fascinating. It's one of my favorite personally, and you cannot get better anatomy class than this one. So just imagine you're now teaching your kid all things about science, and you're able to put this t-shirt and the kid can see exactly where the different organs are in the human body. So this is exactly what Virtually T is doing, and it has been a huge hit across different countries. I think over 100 countries now are using these t-shirts, and it has more than 50,000 installs. And like there are different layers in this augmented reality t-shirt that you can do. So you can change from vascular system to digestive system, and yeah, really understand the different functionalities that is going on inside us. So it's a very neat use case. I really like it. And if I could get a Virtually T for my kid, I would definitely do it because it's super nice. And last but not least, it's not only a very nice use case for independent learning, but also for business optimization, literally. So Vasil and I, we have been fellow German students back in the days, and we might remember that every book came with this CD-ROM that needed like this CD player that we could access the different dialogues and the different grammar extra material that it came, and it was just really audio, right? And with Huba, which is one of the most popular books for studying German, this is in the past. So these guys have completely ditched CD-ROOMs, and they made a mobile application that students can learn on the go wherever they are. All they need is just a mobile phone and their German books. So by pointing the cell phone in the different pages and the different images, they can not only hear the conversations, but see the conversations, which is very enriching. We know that like learning Italian, there's all the gestures. So this brings really an extra layer of richness to the learning. And another advantage besides cutting the costs for not having to produce this physical CD-ROOM anymore, is the ability to update this content much more frequently. So I have one person in the audience today who's an English teacher, Diane, and she can confirm that. There's like this old, not relevant anymore use cases in books. Sometimes like you're talking about pen pals. Who writes letters to pen pals these days, right? So with augmented reality, you're really able to change these conversations that the people are having in the book and really make it relevant to content that is important for us today in the learning. So yeah, those were some of the success stories that we have currently in the market. Now, if you're curious how much it actually costs to make an application like this and what does it take to make an application like this, I will hand over to Vasil so he can continue.
Yeah, thank you, Paula. Before we switch to the business part, I actually want to comment on one of the questions in the chat. So Alexei was asking, can we make a helmet with a visor that identifies people around and remotely reads their body temperature? I think this kind of device is already done because it's very similar to hunting visors, which can show you the image in infrared from infrared camera. But like if we apply to like mobile devices or something like that, like identifying a person or a human on the screen is not a big deal. There is a lot of solutions to do that, like pre-trained neural networks and so on. But to measure the temperature, you will definitely need something like infrared camera. So as soon as we have this kind of device, I think bring together all the information, like people detection and temperature measurement is not a big deal. So yeah, that's doable, I believe. So yeah, regarding the business part, so first of all, regarding the roles in the project. So AR applications like developing the software, other kinds of software has a pretty standard set of roles. At least in our company. However, there are some slight differences, so I will tell you a little bit more about that. So let's start with the common parts. So all the projects that we do in HQSoftware, they involve business analyst and project manager. So these are essential people. And the first one, the business analyst, he is responsible basically to this is the person who can talk both business language and technical language, and he is responsible of understanding the customer's goal, the functionality is needed, and converting it into a technical language that can be used for the development itself, that can be understood by the developers, and that can be used for estimation and so on. It can be in the forms of specification or user stories, whatever. The form can be different, but that's what these guys do. And project manager, this is in our case the guy who is responsible for everything. In first, the very first thing, this is the budget and the timeline of the project, because this is the guy who is in charge for those things, and also the guy is responsible for meeting the project goals, and besides that, he's also the main communication channel normally between the client and the development team. Of course, this is not the only channel, because we always welcome direct communication between other team members and the client. But most of the communication is done by the project manager, because he knows all the aspects of the project. Of course, you will need a designer, because you want your app or software to look nice. And here we come to the differences. So normally you run a AR project on some kind of mobile device, whether that's a smartphone or a tablet or some kind of wearable, still it's mobile development. So most and the very first development skill you will need on that kind of project is mobile development. It can be either native iOS or Android or cross-platform engines like Unity or React Native, whatever. You can implement your apps in any technology, but yeah, this is the first kind of developers you're gonna need on the project. Of course, you will need some quality assurance on the project, because basically you don't want to have bugs in your software, and you want to be like to run smooth and so on. And another very important difference of AR project is the content, because AR projects, obviously, they are very visual. So you have to show something to the users. You have to have some assets with which you augment the reality. And in most of the cases, we mean by that 3D models, images, and videos, whatever you can put on the scene, but it can also be like some buttons or other controls. It can be audio, it can be even some personalized things like personalized videos. You can do even like that if you know something about your user, and you can serve the content to him based on his or her preferences. So you need to take care a lot about the content. I will explain it a little bit on the next slide. Yeah, so now is the most interesting part, is the cost. So a very simple AR app is very easy to create, especially if you take like ready-made production grade technology out of the market like Wikitude or the others. So it can be the app like that. I'm in the app which can be submitted to App Store or to Google Play. It can be done in a day or several days or a week or two. It's not that many effort, and the price can be between 700 and 4,000 US dollars. I will be naming the figures in US dollars because we have here international audience. However, like in euros, it will be approximately the same, like it's 8% difference currently, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so as an example, what kind of web it will be, I would tell the following. So imagine that you have a business card, like we still use business cards. It's a little bit outdated and old-fashioned, but we all still use it. And if you want to enhance it a little bit, you can use it as a marker, and you can release an app which will basically help you promote your company. So your clients or your users, when they will download this app and point it towards the marker, they will see some additional contact information of you or your company, or additional information regarding the services. And this is the application that can be done pretty fast and doesn't require a lot of efforts to do. And normally you don't need too much content for that kind of app, or you can use very simple stock content for that. So yeah, that's pretty easy to start. Then the next grade is a more complex app. You still normally use, in most of the cases, marker-based or image markers recognition technology, but you will have more markers in the app. You will have more content, so you need to maintain and create all that. And normally you have more apps, features, and screens like social media sharing, some settings, some profile, and so on. And like average app like that is done within a month if we talk about the timeline. And from the cost point of view, that's between 4,000 and 15,000 US dollars. In this case, as soon as you have more user interface, you will need more involvement from UI UX designer, but still the content is pretty simple. It's just something that you render over the marker. And the third level is even more complicated up. So there are, I would say, at least 3 significant differences on this level. So first of all, here you start using more advanced recognition technologies like object recognition or cloud recognition. If you don't know cloud recognition, this is the recognition when your markers are not stored in the app itself, but they are in the cloud, and like the app uses that cloud to recognize this is needed when you have like thousands of markers, for instance, and you cannot embed that in the app because the app will be huge. Things like that. You might want to have most likely some kind of interactivity in the scene where the users can click the buttons, they can play back the animations, videos, and the scene, things like that, and that obviously requires the content. And of course, you will have a lot of content because you have a lot of markers and you need to display different stuff over them. So content creation in such cases can take the same efforts and costs as the software development itself, and even bigger. As an example, normally creating a custom 3D model with some kind of basic animations costs between $300 and $2,000 US. This is per 3D model, and imagine what happens if you need like tens or thousands of those models. So that can be quite resource consuming. And the third thing is the content management. So as soon as you have a lot of content, you need some kind of tool how to manage it, how to update it, how to publish, unpublish, and things like that. So in other words, you need a content management system. So you can integrate your an existing one or implement your custom one, and that means you will need another kind of developers in your project, like front-end developers or back-end developers, and like in normal web projects or desktop projects you normally need. So that's in brief how it looks like. So if you need any elaboration regarding those figures or like any detail regarding the project structure, feel free to ask the questions in the chat, and I will answer them like at the end of the webinar. And now I think I will give back the word to Paula.
Thank you. Yes. So yeah, if you're wondering if AR is a good investment for businesses or for academic institution, I hope now that we have showed some nice examples of how you can use this technology and what it costs. I hope you're saying yes. So for academic institutions, of course, there's a clear benefit there because you don't need any special equipment. You don't need to buy any special equipment. Everyone has a smartphone nowadays, and a lot of institutions are now having tablets that you can access the AR content. Also, it just makes the learning material way more interactive, way more fun, and you can improve not only the classroom experience, but also now the outside of classroom experience. And we're starting to see some research on the impacts of augmented reality in learning. So for example, there is a 2015 study from the Technology University of Malaysia saying that kids or students that are using AR have an easier time to learn. It makes the learning process more active, more effective, and also more meaningful. And we see that it really creates this desire for learning, and it helps build long-term memory retention, which is something that we really want when we're learning something new, right? So yeah, when it comes to the business context, we can see that also depending, you don't need any specific device unless you're using smart glasses, but yeah, that's a different case. But there's a huge potential for reducing costs, to increase productivity, and also to reduce the human errors, as you can also provide that remote assistance and just guide the employee throughout the steps. And for the employees, it gives this hands-on experience that helps them improve not only their performance, but the whole communication with the team that is on-site or outside of the site, and increasing the operational speed. So yeah, those were all of the items that we had for you today. I thank everybody for joining us, and we're now opening the floor to answer all of your questions. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Paula. So I'm browsing through the questions currently in the chat window. So I can see the question to you from Tatiana. Paula, in your opinion, how can we implement AR in Brazil education sector?
Mm-hmm. So we already have some pretty interesting use cases in Brazil. So if you go to our showcase page, we had a PhD student that was completely recreating a structure. I can't remember exactly the state, but it was completely recreating a ruin and showing a 3D model of how the building looked like in the past. So I think it's a matter of going step by step. So first you start with small proof of concepts with basic technology like image recognition, with textbooks or whatever print material that you have. And once you see the results from it, and if it fits your institution goals, you can move up to more complex use cases. If the academic institution already has an application, that's of course an advantage. You can just start slowly entering the AR layers to it. But yeah, we are more than happy to also discuss on a separate basis what are your goals and what are you trying to pass to the students with augmented reality. But it's definitely feasible. It's just I know in Brazil the things we're still talking. If the kids have a computer that they can use at all. So the reality varies a lot, but step by step, I believe it's feasible.
Okay, I can see another question regarding WebAR. So Gabriel is asking about WebAR today. Can I create some plugin in WebAR? Yes, you can. So WebAR is a very hot topic nowadays, especially for marketing use, because the entry barrier for the users is much lower. They don't need to install yet another marketing app. They just open the web page and start scanning. I have to admit that the visual quality of WebAR is not as good yet as in native apps. However, I can confirm that this is a trending topic currently, and we are working on that as well.
If I may complement just one thing on the WebAR versus application topic, WebAR, as you said, really nice to use because you literally have very low barrier there, but there is some sort of quality there that gets compromised because it cannot handle the heavy duty work. And the other hand, applications can do a much more complex variety of AR applications and augmented reality experiences. So I would say probably a good mix in the future would be to have some sort of easy entry on the WebAR side and then some application to make the really beautiful and wow effect with more sophisticated augmented reality experiences.
Okay, thank you. So Miranda is asking, does she need to have technical, in particular, developer skills to create an AR app? Can you comment on that? Because I'm a technical guy. I cannot imagine how do you create an app without being technical.
Of course, you can comment on that.
Yeah, I think as I saw, quite a lot of AR providers, they provide some kind of tool, visual editor tool that allows you to create AR experiences without having any kind of technical knowledge. However, normally to play back those kind of experiences, you need to have some mobile app as a player. It's a very straightforward app, but still you need to have it. So if you want to create an experience, yes, definitely you don't need the technical skills. There are plenty of tools. But if you want to create an app, you better do have developer skills for that.
Yeah, if there is already an app in place, it's super easy to just create this content slowly and build this experience over time. But yeah, I'm not a technical person and I made AR happen. So there's definitely, solutions out there.
Okay. Checking if we have more questions.
Yeah, and thank you so much, guys, for all of the interaction. It was almost hard to follow what was going on because there was so much feedback and so many people connecting in the chat. That's very nice to see this community today.
Okay. My question is, there are some obvious functionalities that we need to incorporate while working with Unity. So how do we reduce or optimize the app size? I can comment on this. The following thing is that normally most of the size is consumed by the assets. So as soon as you optimize the assets, you will optimize the app size. You can also implement dynamic downloading assets from the cloud. That means the app will not have them bundled and will be lightweight. So this is pretty straightforward. But Kumar, if you have, thank you for the questions. If you have like more detailed question, feel free to contact us with the context we provide, and we will elaborate more on that. Okay.
So we have a question from Gabriel, and he asks, what skills should I search in a possible CTO to try to make a web AR solution? I'll let you comment on that, Vasil.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think, first of all, CTO, if we are talking about soft skills, not the hard skills, so CTO should be open to everything new, and he should be brave enough to try the new technologies, and he should have the skill to persuade the others that they can make value of that. That's from the soft skills. And from the hard skills, of course, it's very good when CTO has a technical background, and obviously he needs that because he needs to understand how it works and what is feasible, what is not. Because normally CTO, he takes part in when the major technical decisions are made, and when those decisions are wrong, like you spend a lot of money for nothing. So CTO should be brave enough to try the new technologies, but from the other side, he should be very pragmatic and realistic what we can really achieve.
All right, I think those were all of the questions.
Yeah, I think that's more or less it. Yeah, we have one more thing for you. We want to thank you for joining this webinar by proposing a bonus. So please contact us at team@hqsoftwarelab.com if you need some technical consultancy. So from me and my team, so we will be happy to help you. So if you have any task you need to solve, or if you have any idea and you want us to comment on the feasibility, or maybe you have an app and you have some problems with that and you are looking for the ways how to improve that, we will be really happy to help. So please contact us, and if you do the project with us using the Wikitude technology, you will have a 5% discount on the Wikitude license as well.
Yeah.
That's Paula,
thank you, Vasil, for having us. No, thank you for having us. Thank you for having me. It's very, yeah, good stuff. I really enjoyed being with you today. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, Paula, thank you for the help and the will to join. Yeah, I hope this is not our last event. So looking forward for further collaboration, and thanks everyone. I was very happy to see that much feedback and activity in the chat. So yeah, you will, as I mentioned, you will get a follow-up email with the link to recording soon, and I hope to have some communications with you later on some practical topics. So you're welcome. Yeah, so we will wrap up. Thank you again very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.